Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette for Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a fairly later video than I wanted to do, but it is the Dreadscythe Harridans painting up the Mortal Realms. Yeah, so pretty quick, simple, fairly easy techniques. It's not too long as well, this video, thankfully. But as always, if you like these videos, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below, all that good stuff. It helps me out massively and it does fantastic things for the channel. And it helps spread the word and kind of helps build a community. But having said all that, I suppose we should just jump into it. So as you can see, started off with a base coat of Corax White for the entire model. Then we layer over Nilikai Oxide. Works very well, gives it a good ethereal look, especially when you dry brush back over with white, which is going to happen in the next step. What I will mention as well is I've used different bases from the ones I got with Mortal Realms magazine, because as I said in that video, they're Blood Bowl bases, so they have that slot and they have that hole, which is pretty useless on this type of model. And as I say, just dry brush over the entire lot with Corax White. So if you have managed to go over the upper cowl and the upper tatty robes of a Dreadscythe Harridan, you can tidy them up while you're dry brushing over with Corax White. Then we move on to that upper cowl area. So what I'm using here is the contrast paint Griff Charger Grey. This will need a couple of coats because it does layer up pretty thin apart from in those recesses, but it works very well. It actually complements the Nilikai Oxide layers as well, and you just make sure you do the inside area of the model. Then once you've done a couple of coats of the Griff Charger Grey, layer over with Wraithbone over the face, the arms, the bone scythes that are attached instead of hands, and it works very well. The good thing with Wraithbone is you can use it with contrasts, or you can use it with shades if you want to, so like Seraphim Sepia or a Reikland Flesh shade or even Nuln Oil. It'll work very well with those. But I went with using contrast paint Skeleton Horde. It gives it a very kind of like not so much bleached bone effect, and it works very well for painting up those kind of areas. Then move on to things like the hair. So starting off with Baden Black for the base coat for the hair. Works really well, does a good job. Then with the Baden Black dry, all I did was I highlighted certain strands of hair with Administratum Grey, and literally follow it from as much as you can from root to tip, which works perfectly. You can, if you wanted to, you can do the entire strand of a line of hair, so you can have like a grey streak or a white streak if you really wanted to. If you want to do extra, you can use things like Mechanica Standard Grey or Sturm Vermifur for other strands to give it a bit more contrast. And then all I'm doing is picking out those flowers using Nagaroth Night as a base coat. Going for purple flowers instead of the usual red ones that I generally do. And then as good old flowers don't just have petals, they also have stems. Pick out the certain stems that you can see using Warflesh. I went with green this time instead of a brown, because I think it breaks it up a little bit better. And then using Slaanesh Grey, I picked out as many of the little edges of the flowers as I could, It highlights the edges of the petals and works very well for the look of the model. Then for some extra bits and pieces, what you can do, you can add extra kind of items, like use some warpstone green for highlighting flowers and the green stems and the petals and everything like that. You can use things like on those bangles around the arms, use something like retributor armor, or you can use like a bronze, or you could even use silver if you wanted to. Entirely up to you. It's up to you how you do it. So that's it. Very quick, very simple. Not too many steps, thankfully, and it is easily done in probably the space of a day. It's just waiting for those contrasts to dry, and vanillic oxide sometimes as well, which can be a little bit more time consuming. As you can see, I haven't finished the bases off yet. What I want to do is a few little tricks and tips with the bases and kind of little things that I've done in the past. I've got some new kind of ground texture paste from Vallejo that I'm going to be using on it, along with contrast paint, which will work quite well as well, because for ground texture is a grey ground texture instead of like sterling mud. And there's extra bits that you can add to it, so if you've still got some of the gravestones that you haven't used from Sigmar Mausoleum, but you got a couple of issues ago with Mortal Realms magazine, you can use those gravestones on the basis of these models, and it'll fit with the rest of your Nighthaunt, kind of being settled in crypts and graveyards and everything like that. Or if you want to, because we are getting some decent models very soon, like the Knight's Shrouds and stuff like that, leave those gravestones be for the time being, and then you can use them on that model, because he is a hero and he deserves to have a much better base. That's it. Dead simple, very easily done. Next video should be along in the next few days. We should get some more stuff out in the very near future as well. And yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit the like button, drop a comment, whatever you want to do. If you want to as well, you can share your photos of how you're getting on with your models on my Facebook page. Just literally find me, Palette of the Dead, on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram if you wanted to as well. And you can send me your photos, and yeah, it's not too bad. There are some ideas in the pipeline with random things we can do as a kind of a bigger community. But so if you're interested in that, just let me know in the comments down below, and I will explain what I've got in mind in the near future. Right, I'm going to get going now because it's pretty late. Have a good one. I will see you very soon for more Mortal Realms, more Warhammer content.